am I going to do with a Trump phone? I don't need another phone bill. We didn't get a stimulus. We didn't get a DOGE check. We didn't get no debt relief. No help for rent. No help for your mortgage. No help for groceries. They won't raise our wages. They won't lower prices. We're fucking drowning in debt. But guess what we get? We get a Donald Trump phone. A phone. Gold plated with Trump's picture on the back of it. I voted for him. Do I want a fucking Trump phone? No! I want some goddamn relief.
Y'all want to know one real reason why America's crashing out like crazy right now? Mediocrity don't hit like it used to, baby. See, once upon a time in America, you could be real mid and still thrive. Mediocre effort, boom, you get a house, car, annual vacation, pension, hell, maybe even a boat. You could clock in, coast through the week, grill on Sundays, and still retire with dignity. But that era is dead and gone, baby. And instead of leveling up or adapting, they're mad, they're bitter, and they're not even blaming the billionaires. They blaming you. They have the audacity to blame me. They blaming immigrants, black people, queer folk, anyone they think is taking something that used to be theirs by default. See, they don't want equality. They want comfort. And when mediocrity no longer gets them that comfort, they start rewriting the rules to rig the game again. It ain't about fairness. It's about preserving the lie. The lie that being average should still be enough for them.
Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, peace, power, and purpose to my beautiful black people. I love you so much and I respect you so much, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. For those new subscribers, make sure you subscribe, and please share this video to the people you think may want to hear this topic. Now today commentary is about truth that many people try to silence. There's a number of things people have tried to silence about black people, about history, about identity, but right now I'm talking about white Americans. They are regretting. When you go on the social media, you could get white farmers are crying. The health system is down, it's collapsing. The dreams of white America is turning into nightmare. Now, the bitter truth is black people or black Americans warned them. They were warned by the very black people they thought suffering belonged to. Yes, black people warned them. But they chose pride over wisdom, racism over truth. And now, in 2024, November, the pain they tried to throw at us, the pain they tried to throw at black people, now it is for everyone. It is for everyone. Now, why am I saying this? It's because white people voted massively for Donald Trump. And all this collapsing, nightmare, and everything that's going on, it's because of them. They were warned, but they did what they did. As we know, Donald Trump is representing the white system. Donald Trump is representing the white supremacy. He is a representative, and that's why everything he's doing out here is just showing how the system wants it to be. Now, before I continue, I'm playing you these videos and then I have more to talk. Just sit tight, buckle up as we move.
President Trump, if you see this, please save us.
I love the poorly educated.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America.
Hello, I was a federal worker who had 1 month left of her probationary period, and today I was told that I will be terminated at some point this week. I'm utterly devastated. I'm confused because my recent performance evaluation was exceptional and I got upwards of $1,500 as a bonus because my performance was so good. And this was my dream job, and it's just being taken away by an administration who doesn't care about science. It doesn't care about people who might be homeless with their dog now. They don't care about our species that we're trying to conserve. That's exactly what my job was doing. It was just to assess habitat conservation for species for a 55-year habitat conservation plan. We should all be so mad right now. We should all be crying like this because I'm just devastated.
Why, oh why do poor white people vote against themselves time and time again? They vote for Trump and the other MAGA politicians only to have every promise broken, prices go up, social supports evaporate. Here's why. First, remember what I talked about recently, the psychological wage of whiteness. That term was coined by W.E. Du Bois to describe poor white folks being paid with social status rather than decent living conditions. They're convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white puts them in the same league as the elites. Of course, the elites know otherwise, but the poor whites buy it because they're grasping at straws. Second, they are convinced that the people they're supposedly better than are the big threat in their lives. Not the rich, not the corporations or the politicians, but immigrants, black folks, welfare queens, LGBTQ, criminals, you know, the usual scapegoats. Third, the elites promise protection to poor white folks. A politician comes along and says, I'll keep those people in their place, or I'll kick them out, or I'll lock them up. Or, more politely, I'll defend your values. They don't say, I'll make your life better. Well, they say it, they just don't mean it. They'll say, I'll make sure they don't get ahead of you. Fourth, they vote for the punishment, not the policy. When a law gets passed that slashes public housing or school funding or food aid, they think, good, that'll stop those lazy freeloaders. And they do some mental gymnastics that make them believe it's worth losing those things for their own families in order to see those problematic black people and immigrants and so forth being punished. It gets to a point where just seeing those guys being punished is reward enough, which is pretty sick, but that's how behavior works. Their housing, schools, and groceries are on the chopping block too, but they blame that on Biden. Always a scapegoat. They get hit by the same policies they were told would punish the others, and they blame the wrong people. The system fails them, but they've been trained to blame the scapegoats, not the cause, which is the rich people, the people they voted for. So they think the problem is still those people, not the fact that they were personally manipulated by the people they voted for. They're basically saying, I'll take the hit as long as you don't help them, or worse, as long as you hurt them. That is the psychological wage Du Bois was talking about, the trade-off between material security for racial status. And that's a crying shame, folks. One share, like, save, and comment shows that you care about white people taking responsibility for racism in America. This work is important to me, and I want to keep doing it. If you want to support me, consider a donation of any size to coffee.com/Kelly Snyder. And yeah, spelling is important. Get curious.
Trump has cut my food stamps from $2,800 down to $350. Now, what am I supposed to do? So I literally just got this piece of mail today saying that due to new policy changes from the Trump administration and all this shit, whatever, tell me I have to go work. Now I have to go do all this. Well, I literally got 5 kids. Okay, I'm trying to sit here and spend time with them. I'm not trying to go work, 50, 60 hours a week so I can pay bills.
Hey, MAGA rats, the Republicans just dropped their new bill in terms of what they want to do for the economy, and they're cutting Social Security, Medicaid, SNAP, which is like food stamps, Meals on Wheels. They're not putting in the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. They were never going to put that in. You stupid fucks fell for that. They said that in order to get you to vote for them because the Conservative Party knows that in order to get votes, they need to appease to the stupidest people in the United States. That's not my opinion. There is data to prove this. If you vote right right wing, you are most likely less educated than me. That's because the more educated you are, the more likely you are to vote for a Democratic candidate. That's not my opinion. That is statistics. If you voted MAGA, you're probably dumb. Cry about it, bitch about it, moan about it. I couldn't give less of a fuck. But MAGA, why do you want to cut benefits for the VA? Why do you want to get rid of Medicaid, which is healthcare for 72 million Americans? Why do you want to get rid of SNAP benefits, which is how 42 million Americans get their food? Why do you want to do all of these things that will destroy the country? And then at the same time, you advocate for the billionaire class. Why is it that you are advocating for your own demise? Does it have something to do with the fact that you're unironically dumber than a medieval peasant? Does it have something to do with that?
So I just watched a video of a white woman literally crying about the conditions of the United States, how she has to work 60 hours and she's looking at other countries and they don't even have to work 40 hours, how they can take a train for like pennies on the dollar anywhere they want. Meanwhile, like our country's infrastructure is falling apart. How it feels like there's no support nets. It feels like all the safety nets are dissolving and she doesn't understand why. And I both hate and love to remind these folks that the reason why the United States is the way it is because of y'all. A lot of you are the descendants of folks, or might actually be some of the folks, who were more invested in not sharing all of the programs, all of the initiatives that the United States was starting with marginalized people, specifically Black people. Y'all are some of the same folks who would have rather filled in the pools in your neighborhood than share them. Shut down the schools and the libraries rather than share them. That you would rather vote against any forming of these safety nets or any protections for these safety nets rather than share them with marginalized people. Then you look up a generation or two or less later and wonder why you don't have these safety nets to protect you, because you were banking on your whiteness to keep you safe. And a lot of you learned pretty quickly after this election that you don't even have that to keep you safe. That unless your bank account has something like 7 digits in it, that the folks that you were banking on to protect you won't. And that some of the safety nets that maybe your mama or your family had relied upon, like SNAP or Medicaid or Medicare or any of those other basic safety nets, are going to be eradicated by the very people that you voted for. May I suggest, instead of crying, you strap up? The whole bootstrap thing that y'all be telling my people about. Remember that you get what you pay for. For everybody else who's not invested in crying, maybe some suggested reading. The Some of Us by Heather McGhee. It talks about how equality is not a zero-sum game. This book has torn me up several times that I've read it, but it is essential reading. So for the next few years, might want to be diving in instead of crying on the internet.
Hey MAGA voters, this message is for you. I know how excited you guys get every time one of these undocumented immigrants is stripped away, actually physically pulled away from their little children or their wives or their husbands and detained and put into a concentration camp surrounded by alligators and serpents. I know that gets you really excited, but I just thought I'd give you a quick lesson in macroeconomics, especially for those of you that have no money. You're about to go broke, and I'll tell you why. See, here's the thing about America. Undocumented immigrants are a fundamental piece of our economy. It will not work without them. See, many of these people, most of them, pay taxes. They get few benefits, but they do actually pay taxes. They grow the gross national product, and they hold the fabric of America together by doing jobs that spoiled Americans will not do. Okay? This also causes inflationary pressure, which means everything is going to get a lot more expensive. So every time you celebrate one of these poor people being detained and deported, just keep in mind, you're one person closer to going broke. You're going to lose everything you have. And remember who you voted for. You voted for someone who doesn't even know what macroeconomics means, doesn't know the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics, okay? You voted for a dunce, and he's going to be your undoing. But keep in mind that he's really rich, and all the people in the GOP that are sucking up to him, see, they're really rich too. So I hope you're really rich, because if you're not, you're going to go broke, and you're only going to have yourself to blame. Have a good day.
regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump, this is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why. I am a builder, and I've been building shit in Oklahoma City going on like 20 years now, and farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have two candidates where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy, and you are a farmer, you are either racist or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated. Got that? They are being treated how they voted for other minorities, people of color, everybody else, poor people, sick people. That's how they voted for other people to be treated. And now they're the ones being treated that way by losing their livelihood, their homes, their income, their farms. So do not feel sorry for them. This is exactly what they had coming. Quick follow-up as to why exactly would Trump be doing this to farmers anyways, and I'm guessing 99% chance it's because he wants to bankrupt farms so his corporate buddies can come in and do a land grab. Basically what you have been seeing the last few years, major companies buying up a bunch of rental houses and jacking up the price of rents, and it's all going to corporations. It's probably something similar to let these farms go to foreclosure and his corporate buddies be able to come in, swoop them up, and now you've got bigger companies involved in more of our day-to-day food.
Welcome back. Now, let me start here. In 2024 election, Donald Trump made his return, not with a plan to fix America, no, but with a mission to restore white fear, with a mission to make America great again. And this white fear is driven by pride. Make America great again is not about making American dreams come true. No. As per now, we all know that. He promised to crash DEI programs. He promised to bring order to schools. He promised to protect white farmers, white police, and white corporations. But he never promised truth. He never promised peace. He never promised equity for everyone. Not even for the very white people who voted for him. White Americans did not vote for Trump because he had solutions, because he had plans. No, they voted for him because they wanted to hurt black progress, period. If I'm saying wrong, tell me in the comment section. They voted for him because he wanted to make America great again. And making America great again is like making America racist again. Talking America where white people had power over black people, where white people had full control over white people, over black people. So they thought voting for him will stop us or stop black people from rising. They thought it will shut down black voices. They thought it will send black people back in their places. But now they're looking around and they're the ones who are drowning because, come on, black people have been in these movies. They understand how to maneuver in these hard times. But you have never been here. Let me talk about white farmers a little bit because I think I've played videos of white farmers here too. These are the same people who are most loyal Trump supporters. They voted for him hoping he would bring traditional America back. They were cheering when he rolled back environmental protection, thinking it will benefit them. But now what is happening is that we have massive maybe drought destroying the crops. Federal subsidies have been slashed under new Trump economic policies. His trade war with Africa and China, South America, backfired, and now white farmers can't sell even their crops globally like before, because when you're fighting with your neighbors, when you're fighting with the people you need to do business with them, how will you do business? Equipment costs now are up. seeds are expensive, and banks are refusing new loans. So white farmers are crying in interviews. I see in videos, creating videos. It's a video I saw on Fox News. The same media, mainstream media that once called black farmers lazy, now they are showing white farmers begging for help. Okay? But where is Trump right now? He's nowhere to be found. He is at, Mar-a-Lago, maybe playing golf while his voters rot in the fields. This is what happens when you vote out of hate. This is what happens when you vote against your own self. Because I believe they did not vote out of healing. They vote out of their own privileges, and it's hunting them down. Okay? We have seen white Americans complain about health is high. It's so hard to go to hospital. Remember when Trump mocked healthcare access during his first term? Remember when he downpaid COVID back then, when he cut funding for community hospitals? Right now in 2025, the healthcare system is falling apart. And guess who is screaming? White nurses, white doctors, white patients. Why? Because Trump removed protections from the Affordable Care Act again. Because he cut Medicaid and Medicare thinking it will only hurt black and brown communities. But now, elderly white Americans in small towns can't even get their medications. The rural hospitals are shutting down. Nursing homes are underfunded and closing doors. The same people who say that why should my tax dollar pay for black people health care are now the ones begging for coverage, for insulin, for surgery. Sometimes we need to talk about these things so that black people are always on the right side. And my message to my white brothers and sisters, sometimes I've been telling you, white supremacy is not affecting black people only. The brainwash and everything was not for black people only. Even white people, for example, middle class white people and poor white people, we are in the same class. We are in the same class with the black and brown people. The earlier you understand that, the earlier you know that, you will join hands with the black brothers and sisters. Okay? Black people want everyone. So you destroy the healthcare personally, you destroy everyone, not just black people, not just us. But they didn't listen, okay? And now they are paying the price. It is so sad to see that you are going through problems that you yourself brought it to your body, Trump promised to bring back jobs, giving American jobs to Americans and revive the economy. But 2025, America is looking like a slow, crumbling empire, with a working class that's losing everything. Inflation is skyrocketing. People are losing jobs. Rent has doubled in major cities. Mortgage rates are up. Student loans are back in full force with zero forgiveness. Okay? And manufacturing jobs still gone. So guess who is hurting the most? Families who voted for Trump because they thought he would crash black-owned businesses and eliminate immigrant competitions. White middle-class families. They are hurting the most. They voted Trump because of their own reasons, their own self. But now their jobs are gone, their taxes are rising, and their kids are stuck in broken public schools. And meanwhile, the black community, the same people who they mocked, are creating independent systems, building businesses, and organizing economic collectives that are actually working. And do you know why they are working? It's because the God of black people is working. It's judgment time. We build our resilience while they build a wall of lies. And now that wall is crashing down. Okay? The regret is public now. So this is one of the wildest shifts in current years. For example, in 2025, even some white conservative media is beginning to admit they were wrong. I watch the news all the time. And other learning platforms, I learn, okay? And they are showing the reality. White voters are saying they feel betrayed. Rural America is worse than ever. Trump's policies are hurting white families too. Some white pastors have even admitted maybe we should have listened to black Christians when they warned us about that man. But let me tell you, this is what we have been saying. Black people have always been the conscience of this nation of America. And black people warned them not just about Trump, but about the system that serve only the rich and powerful while pretending to protect white America. Now the veil is gone. Now they feel the pain. Now they cry in interviews, So I'll say this. This ain't just about economic or politics. This is spiritual, cultural, and historic. Trump was never a leader. He was a mirror. As I said earlier, he didn't just betray white America, but he exposed their obsession with staying on top, even if it meant sinking the whole ship. He doesn't care. Now black communities are more united. African Americans are building businesses, healing spiritually, and rejecting the traps. The diaspora is rising from Ghana to Jamaica to Kenya, and white America is in internal chaos. They wanted Trump to silence black power, maybe, but all he did was accelerate it. I said because it is not falling, because it is time. It is time of judgment. Because when the people you look down on begin to rise, you either learn from them or get left behind. They didn't listen, they mocked, they voted, and now they regret. So my black families, we need to stay focused. That's what we need to do. We need to stay focused, stay united, and we don't gloat. We build, okay? Because this moment right now is not just their regret, it's our revelation. Revelation of what? We were right to fight for healthcare for all. We were right to fight for economic justice, spiritual and cultural power, education beyond lies, and etc., etc. So this is our time to create our own safety nets. This is our time to support black businesses. This is our time to build bridges across diaspora and protect each other like never before. Okay? Let white America sit on their decisions. It's okay. Let them sit in their decisions. Let them feel the consequences, but let us keep moving forward with purpose, because while they are regretting, we are reclaiming. So let's not feel like, and I'm happy what black Americans are doing right now, staying quiet and organizing quietly. Okay? Thank you for watching, my good family. If you made it up to the end of this video, this means that you care deeply about truth, about black liberation, and about the future we are building. Let this be a reminder to you that we are the light in the darkness, that we are the voice in the silence. So keep rising, keep speaking, keep building. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Support black platforms, and always remember, the world watches us because we are the blueprint.